Jamaica. I am Javon Keys, wishing you pleasant viewing.
The Gleaner wants you to unfold our pages in a new way. Download the eGleaner app for quick and convenient access to daily exclusive news at your fingertips. Get it now in the App Store or the Google Play Store. Search eGleaner. Click download, then sign in or register via jamaica-gleaner.com/premium to activate. Take control of your daily read. Download the eGleaner app today.
Every winning team has a game plan, and hurricane season is no different. Before the storm makes its move, make yours. Stock up on water, food, medication, batteries, and important documents. Know your evacuation route and stay informed. Hurricane preparedness is your best defense. This hurricane season, score a goal for your family's safety. Be ready, be alert, be prepared.
We hit live. Days, weeks, months, and years. It's never too late. It's all in one spot.
Hey folks, good morning and welcome.
In food, drop in I food on, make we see what we're going.
Live streaming from all brands, thousands of hours of video on demand. Discover the island's best by downloading the app or typing onespotmedia.com.
Yes! Go solar with a C&WJ secured or unsecured solar loan. C&WJ. Discover the benefits of belonging.
Everybody can tell this good great smell. Just give me, Kendall.
Another quality product from the CariMed Group.
Just give me, Kendall.
Stylish fittings and home decor for every budget. We have everything you need to build or renovate in style. Quality you trust at the lowest prices guaranteed. Visit us today at 1215 Providence Way, Ironshore. Jamaica builds with Home and Things.
The Imperial brand, where quality meets perfection. Find them in your nearest appliance store.
The time by Imperial Appliances is...
The following program is suitable for viewing by children under the supervision of adults. Parental discretion is advised.
News headlines brought to you by...
With as little as $20,000, you can start investing in real estate. JMMB Optimum Capital Real Estate Unit Trust Fund is an ideal mix of real estate stocks and...
In primetime news this evening, a humanitarian disaster. Opposition wants government to step in and protect Cooper's Pet residents whose homes were demolished.
Will I pay less for my water bill given water restrictions? The NWC and regulator respond.
And United States announces new military deal with Jamaica to tackle narco-terrorists. Good evening and welcome to Primetime News. A very special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. I'm Anthony Lug.
And I am Andrea Chisholm. Coming up in business news, demand for US dollar exceeds supply. Central Bank expected to intervene.
And Jermaine Brown is here to give us a preview of what's coming up in sports.
Well, thank you, Anthony. Well, the Jamaica Kingsmen are just about taking the field at Savannah Park for their second game this in the Caribbean Premier League against the Guyana Amazon Warriors. We'll give you an update on that a bit later on. And international tennis will be in Jamaica this weekend. All that and more to come.
Thank you, Jermaine. There's also sports commentary and weather in this newscast. But before the break, the feedback question.
And this evening we are asking, what are your thoughts on the demolition of the homes in Cooper's Bench, Trelawney?
Share comments online, facebook.com/Television Jamaica, and post on X at TVJ News Center.
Please stay with us. Primetime News returns after this break.
News headlines brought to you by...
With as little as $20,000, you can start investing in real estate. JMMB Optimum Capital Real Estate Unit Trust Fund is an ideal mix of real estate, stocks, and more.
KFC Summer Bucket.
Chicken, mega deal, super chicken, mega.
This KFC bucket deal has you thinking chicken. Get the summer bucket for $4,700.
Turn up to 25, turn up to 25. Could I drive out fresh in a MG ride with a staycation, all inclusive flex? Yeah, I touch a million cash. Yes, smart TV, PS5, and home upgrade.
Turn up your winnings this summer with Digicel. Sign up or switch to postpaid or Digicel Plus. Buy a SIM, top up with 5 bills or more. Buy a 7-day plan or higher, a smartphone deal, or just pay your bill. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promotion period June 24 to September 5, 2026. Visit DigicelJamaica.com for terms and conditions.
KFC's sweet red chili saucy wings are back. Wings that still crunch the rest. KFC saucy wings, it's finger-licking good.
This summer, stamp your passport to millions with Flow. Buy a 5-day or higher data, talk, and text plan, or switch to Flow and earn passport stamps for chances to win your share of over $9 million in cash and prizes. Win $1 million weekly, plus the grand prize of $3 million cash and a trip for 2 to the CPL Finals in Barbados. The more stamps you collect, the more chances you have to win. Experience it all on Flow 5G. Visit discoverflow.co. Promotion ends September 9, 2026. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
SEARCH. Workers in the carry. Ugh.
Tired of that ordinary search bar? Get ready for an exhilarating journey with captivating stories dating all the way back to 1834. Use the Gleaner Archive's unique perspectives to make your next project ignite your passions like never before. Find us at gleanerarchives.com. Your adventure starts now.
Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome to viewers on onespotmedia.com as well as TVJ International in the Cayman Islands.
First up this evening, it's a humanitarian disaster. That's how the opposition PNP is describing the situation in Cooper's Bench, Trelawney, after visiting the area earlier today.
The opposition is calling on the government to use its powers and protect residents from further displacement like it did 10 years ago for residents in another parish.
And Jamila Maitland explains.
It's day 2 of living in the rubble for residents of Cooper's Pen in Trelawney, whose homes were demolished on Tuesday. Beneath the tarpaulins are makeshift beds and misery. The dust, debris, and deadly heat have also taken a toll on residents. During a visit Thursday morning, opposition leader Mark Golding described the situation as a humanitarian calamity and called on Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, who has oversight for all land agencies, to intervene.
So he is in a position to expedite a solution to this crisis, and I'm calling on him to do so. Identify an appropriate location and make the necessary investments so that the people can be restored.
Opposition spokesman on land Lothan Cousin acknowledged the effort of the government so far. Tents, cots, and food supplies have been provided. But Mr. Cousin says residents are worried that another day without a plan increases the level of discomfort.
What we are witnessing here today is most inhumane, and the government cannot simply say that they are unable to assist the people. That is false, that is misleading, and that is not true.
He says government can use its powers to protect residents of Cooper's Pen from displacement. He pointed to the 2016 incident in which the government stepped in to help those at 85 and 85.5 Red Hills Road in St. Andrew when they were faced with demolition threats linked to squatting.
There are several houses not yet destroyed, and the government must invoke Section 4 of the Local Communities Improvement Act, similar to what they did at Red Hills Road for these residents here. And it must be done forthwith. It is the only way to prevent a further demolition.
Some 40 families have been impacted by the demolition. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security in a statement said social workers are expected to visit the community on Friday to do further assessments and to offer more assistance. There was no mention of any plans to permanently relocate residents, only that drop-in shelters in the parish would accommodate the families. But as Day 3 approaches, opposition spokesman on human rights Isaac Buchanan says the residents need permanent housing.
We must understand that many of us are still suffering from the Melissa experience. To come and see my brothers and sisters be placed in tents during hurricane season is unacceptable. And I don't want that to be lost. This is not just about property rights. They are human rights, and every Jamaican, the least among us, deserves that.
Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, residents are also threatening to bring legal action against the state, accusing it of breaching their constitutional rights. Lead attorney Donovan Collins told our news center that he intends to bring legal action against the state and the police high command over what he insists was the illegal detention of more than a dozen men prior to the demolition exercise early Tuesday morning. The lawsuit will be filed in the Supreme Court tomorrow.
So we have completed taking instructions from the men who were arrested by the police in Cooper's Pen, Trelawney, right? We have instructions to file the claims against the state for false imprisonment and other breaches of the men's constitutional rights. So certainly we'll be filing the claims by the latest tomorrow.
The residents contend that members of the security forces invaded the community in the wee hours of the morning and arrested most of the men before the demolition team entered the community. The police said the men were detained for processing and later released. More than 20 homes were destroyed in the exercise, which has sparked public outrage.
As drought conditions intensify, a growing number of NWC customers are questioning whether current water lock-offs and upcoming restrictions will translate into lower water bills. Ramarda Lyons explains.
Drought intensifies island-wide. Questions have been raised about the island's groundwater and why it is not being used to ease the water shortage. In fact, groundwater makes up about 84% of Jamaica's exploitable freshwater sources. In Part 1, experts explained that some of our groundwater sources are contaminated, especially in Kingston and St. Andrew. But what about others?
Most of these wells that are tapping into these aquifers are being used largely for irrigation purposes. So it is this same scenario that allows for the National Stadium to be green, for Devon House.
And we do apologize for that incorrect story. Let's now go to the correct story, which is that from Ramarda Lyons, who is talking about the NWC customers who are questioning whether the current water lock-offs and upcoming water restrictions will translate to lower water bills.
Less water in pipes, but will pockets continue to leak with Jamaicans forking out thousands to pay water bills? With further water restrictions set to take effect on August 17, how will that reduced availability affect what customers pay? I put the question to the NWC.
So for the areas where there is definitely a change in the volume of water that we supply, then the meter should properly capture that. And so the bill will reflect accordingly the change in consumption. Therefore, if you're getting less water, then the meter will capture that.
But there's a problem. Some customers try to double up on their usage during the hours they have water,
which could influence you having near normal usage patterns. There is also the need to pay attention to the possibility of leaks still existing, your tanks running out and then refilling and running out again, or simple cases where pipes are left on and not discovered until after several hours when persons may return home.
In the meantime, the Office of Utility Regulations OUR says estimated water bills are still a possibility even when there's a reduction in metered consumption. Jodian Coltman, acting coordinator of the Consumer Affairs Operations at the OUR, spoke on Radio Jamaica's hotline.
The account will still be billed once you're still an active customer, whether water is coming through the taps or not. Once you're an active customer, you will be billed, and two types of billing, whether estimated or actual readings. We will prefer that customers do get actual readings.
However, the OUR's guaranteed standards say there should not be more than 2 consecutive estimated bills where the company has access to a customer's meter. The guaranteed standards are performance measures that guide the provision of utility services. If companies fail to honor the agreement, the customer is entitled to compensation, which is applied as a credit to the account.
If customers get more than 2 consecutive estimated bills where the meter is accessible, then that will constitute a breach of that particular standard. So to answer your question, yes, the account will still be billed, but whenever an actual reading is taken, it will reconcile for any under or overestimation.
Ramarda Lyons, TVJ News.
This evening, we continue our look at the ongoing water crisis and what's being done to address it in the long term. While activists point to deforestation, development projects, and pollution as major contributors to the water challenges, the government says the issue is way more complex. Kelisha Williams has part 2 of this Primetime News special report.
As the drought intensifies island-wide, questions have been raised about the island's groundwater and why it is not being used to ease the water shortage. In fact, groundwater makes up about 84% of Jamaica's exploitable freshwater sources. In part 1, experts explained that some of our groundwater sources are contaminated, especially in Kingston and St. Andrew. But what about others?
Most of these wells that are tapping into these aquifers are being used largely for irrigation purposes. So it is this same scenario that allows for the National Stadium to be green, for Devon House to be green, for King's House to be green, for St. George's College downtown to be still green, even in times of drought, because they are pulling on the groundwater.
And it is not feasible to pump our groundwater and store it in places like the Mona Dam. Managing Director of the Water Resources Authority, Peter Clark, says once the water is extracted, it is more practical to distribute it quickly.
You can look at it as a reservoir of water underground. Now, you would want to take that from underground, put it into surface storage, where it then it gets exposed to sunlight, and then now you have to contend with evaporation. Because I've done some calculations, and according to my calculations, roughly 82,000 gallons per day evaporates from Mona Reservoir.
For Minister of Water, Environment and Climate Change, Matthew Samuda.
Yes, we still are the land of wood and water. The issue is your ability to extract it, treat it, store it, and distribute it without losing 70%.
That's what the National Water Commission calls non-revenue water, NRW. Water lost due to theft, leaks, and inadequate or broken meters. For example, before 2015, on average, Kingston and Portmore lost about 60 to 70% of water from the NWC. The government was able to cut the losses to just under 40%, but the NWC still has a far way to go. It is why the non-revenue water project is being implemented. Once the bidding process is completed, the NWC will make a formal recommendation to the minister, who will then take it to Cabinet.
The Cabinet with the hope of appointing a contractor before the end of the calendar year. That would see the investigation phase of the NRW project starting early next year. That investigation phase takes about a year, which is this phase where they literally go around and detect leaks all around the country, and then write the plan for where you need to work on first.
And so he said the NRW project is the first step in making the island more drought resilient.
Today in Kingston and St. Andrew, you require 50 million gallons per day to supply Kingston. 10 years ago, with all these buildings not being there, with less people, with less development, you needed 60 million because of the level of leaks. The point about, well, development and more need, okay, but we use less water today in Kingston than we did 10 years ago. With all the development that has taken place, that is also the case in Montego Bay. So that comment is an emotional one. It's not one that's grounded in fact. I mean, I understand the apprehension when someone says, but we're having a water challenge. No, we are, and it's a 12 million gallon challenge, and we're midway in construction on a 15 million gallon plant.
Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
Still to come this evening, United States announces new military deal with Jamaica to tackle narco-terrorists. And in business news, demand for US dollar exceeds supply. Central bank expected to intervene. We'll be right back.
KFC Summer Bucket.
Chicken, mega deal, super chicken, mega.
This KFC bucket deal has you thinking chicken. Get the summer bucket for $4,700.
50 grand
every week.
How?
Just upgrade your flow sim. Upgrade your flow sim for a chance to win $50,000 every week in the Passport to Millions promotion. Simply dial *555 to check if you need a new LTE 5G sim. Then visit a Flow store to upgrade. Every upgrade gets a chance to win $50,000 every week in the Passport to Millions promotion. Enjoy smoother browsing, streaming, and downloads on the go. Upgrade your sim today. 50 grand could be yours this week. Visit discoverflow.co. Promotion ends September 9, 2026. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Confidence starts early and grows with every experience. From overcoming life's challenges to enjoying new experiences, conquering your career goals, or finding your inner strength. Have confidence in all you do. Confidence sanitary napkins are flexible, breathable, and super absorbent, keeping you fresh and confident throughout the day.
Confidence is you.
We've got this.
Nurturing businesses with support and services to help them grow and bloom. The time by Sagicor Bank is...
You don't have to do it alone. With a Sagicor Bank intergenerational mortgage, you can join forces with any family member and get up to 45 years to repay. So, who are you gonna call?
My brother Mark? Grumpy Uncle George? Nah. I know. Mommy.
Create more with a Sagicor Bank intergenerational mortgage.
50 grand
every week.
How?
Just upgrade your flow sim. Upgrade your flow sim for a chance to win $50,000 every week in the Passport to Millions promotion. Simply dial *555 to check if you need a new LTE 5G sim. Then visit a Flow store to upgrade. Every upgrade gets a chance to win $50,000 every week in the Passport to Millions promotion. Enjoy smoother browsing, streaming, and downloads on the go. Upgrade your sim today. 50 grand could be yours this week. Visit discoverflow.co. Promotion ends September 9, 2026. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming Act.
Welcome back, and we're continuing the news. Firefighters in St. Elizabeth have been kept busy with bushfires in the last couple of weeks. The latest occurred in Ballards Valley near Junction, St. Elizabeth, Thursday morning. Residents say the blaze, which started sometime after 10 a.m., has destroyed crops and threatened homes. At around 3 p.m., firefighters were still conducting cooling down operations. The extent of the damage is not yet known. There were no reported loss of life or injuries.
The United States has announced that Jamaica is part of a new military partnership to tackle narco-terrorists in the Caribbean. Details came from U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth at the America's Counter-Cartel Coalition Conference in Panama.
For decades, Jamaica and the United States have a robust partnership on national security with emphasis on intelligence sharing and counter-narcotics operations. Jamaica has joined the new U.S.-led military alliance known as the America's Counter-Cartel Coalition, sometimes called Shield of the Americas. Formed in March 2026, it's described as a U.S.-led multinational security and political alliance formed to combat transnational drug cartels, reduce illegal migration across the Western Hemisphere, and limit foreign geopolitical interference. This was Jamaica's National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang at a recent meeting of the coalition in Panama. TVJ News has not seen any public information from the Jamaican government on the visit. However, the U.S. published photographs on social media and its websites. U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth mentioned Jamaica in his remarks.
I want to thank Jamaica for working with the Department of War to create a new military partnership to cripple narco-terrorists that transit through the Caribbean. This partnership will forever change the security environment of the Caribbean.
Jamaicans await details of this partnership. It's important to note, though, that Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Guyana, are part of the Americas Counter-Cartel Coalition. The development follows concern about the increased U.S. military presence in the Caribbean and Latin America. Operation Southern Spear, aimed at detecting, disrupting, and degrading transnational criminal and illicit maritime networks, was the overarching program which was used to justify the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
The success of Operation Southern Spear will be transferred to the newly established Joint Task Force Western Hemisphere, the action arm of U.S. Southern Command, to continue the targeting and killing of narco-terrorists that threaten our shared backyard. President Trump does not tolerate free riding, and we're not here for games. When we say we will dismantle the cartels, we mean it. And I know the nations of this coalition feel the exact same way on behalf of their citizens, and will take concrete steps, sometimes risky steps, courageous steps, in partnership, such as reaching status of forces agreements or access basing and overflight agreements.
2 men are now in police custody as investigations continue into the viral brawl at the Zimise Beach event. One of the men, 43-year-old Dave Taylor, an American businessman, has been charged with unlawful wounding and assault. He was positively identified during an identification parade yesterday. He was later charged after being questioned in the presence of his attorney, Donovan Collins. Taylor was intercepted at the airport on Monday while attempting to leave the island. A second man turned himself in at the Runaway Bay police station this morning and is expected to be placed on an identification parade. 2 boys aged 15 and 17 were injured in the brawl at the event, which reportedly began after a splashing incident.
Hoteliers in Hanover and Westmoreland say bad roads in Lucy have led to a decline in bookings. Guests leaving the airport to stay at their resort are complaining about traffic congestion. Kimberly Petty has the details.
Vehicles in traffic along the Lucy Main Road in Hanover. A motorist carefully maneuvering the pothole-riddled road filled with water. It's a common scene in the seaside town, but of recent, complaints have been ringing loudly from hoteliers who say it's hurting their businesses. Alexander Pike is a director of operations at Princess Resorts and Hotels.
We here at Princess Resorts have truly struggled with the condition of the road in Lucy. Several guest complaints about the time it has taken for them to get to the resort, mainly because of the traffic that has been caused due to the road condition.
It should take approximately 15 to 20 minutes from Lucy to get to Princess Resorts and Hotels, but he says guests are complaining of being in traffic for hours.
Some guests have decided not to traverse this side because bookings would have fallen from some guests posting online about the time it has taken for them to get to the resort. Especially with the family hotel, we have a lot of parents that don't want to be too long on the road with their children.
Hotelier and chairman of the Negril Destination Assurance Council, Richard Wallace, says the road needs urgent attention.
It's a very bad situation. The road is creating a lot of issues for the town of Negril, and not just for the tourism sector, but also for locals and residents. It takes, because of the condition of the road, traffic is backing up for hours in some cases. And what that is doing it's affecting business in several different ways.
Mr. Wallace explains that tourists who also come into Negril from Montego Bay for different excursions are impacted. He says that there have been talks about a bypass, which he insists would remedy the issue. Councillor for the Lucy Division told her news team that he and the Member of Parliament have relayed the issue to relevant authorities, but to no avail.
It seems that Hanover is the forgotten parish, because whenever there is something that needs to be done in Hanover, it takes months and months to be done. Now, I am concerned because I was put in the position to represent the people. Now, the people look to me for assistance in getting things like these fixed. Now, I need to know what is happening for Hanover. Why is it that nothing can be done in the town of Lucy?
Meanwhile, Works Minister Robert Morgan told TVJ News that a $1.5 billion project should have been underway to renovate the seawall. However, there is an issue with the SNG asphalt plant. He added that another $1.5 billion project will start late August and that a Spark Main Road program will be done in the area.
We will be doing Montego Bay, Great River, St. James, the entire section of that corridor. We'll also be doing Great River to Sandy Bay to Lucy, Lucy to Green Island, and Green Island to the Paris border, and the Paris border of Hanover to Negril. That is over $1.5 billion.
Kimberly Petty, TVJ News.
There is relief this evening for residents and vendors who use Market Street in St. Elizabeth. The roadway, which was damaged during Hurricane Melissa, is now being repaired. Yannick Williams reports.
After being damaged by Hurricane Melissa, Market Street in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth is finally being repaired. On Wednesday morning, work crews contracted by the municipal corporation moved in to repair badly affected sections of the road, including drainage. The repairs are expected to bring much-needed relief for residents, motorists, and people who use the market daily.
I feel more than glad because the market is welcome for the higgler them to sell. And out on the road is pure problem. When the transport can't pass, you have to war, you have to kill one another. See the market will stay good, and I'm glad to see it now. So I'm glad this is what's going on, and I wish the whole town have been started like this. Years now, years, month after years. Thank the mayor and the CEO and the councillor.
For those doing business at the market, better access could also mean greater convenience for customers. However, vendors say the most important repairs inside the market have still not been completed. They say that needs to be done before they can return to their stalls.
Well, for Section 1, enough repair, because it was, we'll be already. When we're in there, this order coming up all the while, I was telling them about it. And we cannot stay in there, we cannot eat in there. In there, one cut out, in there, pay eat. Come like number one sell, or in the hut. So we needed to proper, clean it up proper, and we agreed to go in there. We agreed to go in the market, and we agreed to go in there, but we needed to fix proper for us.
In the meantime, Mayor of Black River Richard Salomon says the repairs are an important part of the recovery effort following Hurricane Melissa.
We would have made representation to the ministry, and Minister Mackenzie would have made the necessary allocation, and I am pleased with the sort of work that is being executed here today by the contractor.
Mayor Solomon says the focus is not simply on repairing the damage.
When you look at the approach that we would have taken to get this one done, NWC would have ensured that the main pipes would have been laid before, so we were in dialogue with them, and all the business operators would have received their laterals. So after we are completed here today, there's no need to do anything to do anything of that nature.
As the repairs continue, shoppers and vendors say they are hoping the improvements will make access to the market easier and help restore normal activity in the area. Yannick Williams, TVJ News.
Coming up later in this newscast, Romanian nuclear power plant forced to shut down. We'll be right back.
No join the manual line, tap up online. Beg you tap up online instead.
The time is
This KFC bucket deal has you thinking chicken. Get the summer bucket for $4,700.
A much cheaper toll rates on Trans-Jam highways with a T-Tag until October 31st. Ready to get your T-Tag today? Good news! T-Tag packages are discounted by 50%, down to $1,250 until September 30th. The package includes $500 toll credit that you can use right away. Get your T-Tag today from any manually operated toll booth on Trans-Jam highways or Rubis gas station on the Portmore Toll Road.
An essential tip for meat preparation. Brought to you by
top quality meat, frozen veg, seafood, and processed meats at affordable prices.
Nation's Choice, always your best value. Pork. Score the fat on roasts or chops to promote even cooking and crispy edges. That was an essential tip for meat preparation. Brought to you by
top quality meat, frozen veg, seafood, and processed meats at affordable prices.
Nation's Choice, always your best value.
Employers, your hard contribution builds a stronger workforce and strengthens the economy. It's not just contribution, it's transformation. The time by heart is...
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. A Jamaican-developed artificial intelligence tool is entering an increasingly important conversation: mental health. The AI wellness companion called Chubi is designed to give users a private space to talk, reflect, and work through difficult moments. But as artificial intelligence increasingly finds its ways into healthcare, questions remain about how much we should trust a machine with our most personal thoughts. Sandy Williams explores the promise and the concerns.
For some people, asking for help can be the hardest part of dealing with emotional distress. Financial barriers, stigma, or simply not being ready to sit across from another person can keep people from seeking professional support. Now, a Jamaican-built AI wellness companion is hoping to provide an alternative first step.
So Chubi is an AI wellness companion. So it has multiple features where you can talk to different personalities. I have about 4 of them. Each personality type for the companion is specific to what the user might want.
The platform offers several conversational personalities, including one designed around empathy and others with warmer, softer approaches, as well as religious or spiritual approach. The idea is not to diagnose or treat mental illness, but to give users somewhere to start.
So I realized that there's so many reasons why people don't readily seek support. So some of these could be like financial constraints. It could be that it's the stigma attached to mental health and seeking support, or it could simply mean that you're not ready to openly say what you feel.
And that is where mental health professionals say the conversation about AI becomes complicated. AI can be available at any time and may make it easier for someone to articulate what they're feeling. But a digital conversation is not the same as a clinical assessment by a trained psychologist or psychiatrist.
When you sit in front of someone as a counseling psychologist, it's more than just being able to give them information. It's more of being able to empathize. And empathize is not just understanding. It's having the ability to look beneath what the behavior is. It's that curiosity as to why you did what you did. How can I help you to change thoughts? It's not just looking at intervention like cognitive behavior therapy and just saying, oh, this is what you should do and use cognitive behavior therapy. It's understanding and being able to feel the energy coming from your patient and be able to respond in that way. AI can't do that.
Tubi is already available to users, and its creators say the platform was fully developed in Jamaica. The Ministry of Health has acknowledged the need for greater access and announced measures to strengthen mental health services, including additional posts for psychiatrists, psychologists, and other mental health personnel. But even with those efforts, technology like Tubi raises a bigger question. In part 2, we explore the possibilities. Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
Time now for the responses from our friends on Facebook and X to our feedback question. And the question is, what are your thoughts on the demolition of homes in Cooper's Pen, Trelawney? The first response is from Lisa. Firstly, let me state that it is very sad that it got to this stage. The landowners, as far as I can see, followed the correct procedures through the courts, which were not taken seriously by the persons which are now displaced. Based on that, this is now the only way out for the landowners. Our next comment from Tijani. I would love to know what are the rights of property owners and what rules exist when it comes to demolition. This is critical so that Jamaicans and property owners can understand how these things work in order to protect properties and land ownership. And Warren says it's still unlawful to settle on land without permission. However, these are our brothers and sisters. Proper relocation should have been done. Keep sending those comments, facebook.com/televisionjamaica and post on X at TVJ News Center. The business day and news from overseas are after the break, so please stay with us.
Every winning team has a game plan, and hurricane season is no different. Before the storm makes its move, make yours. Stock up on water, food, medication, batteries, and important documents. Know your evacuation route and stay informed. Hurricane preparedness is your best defense. This hurricane season, score a goal for your family's safety. Be ready, be alert, be prepared.
Picture this. You're on a beach or in the mountains, perhaps a bar or at the salon, with the world at your fingertips. That's one spot. Multiple channels, music, drama, entertainment, news and sports, pay-per-view and video on demand. Download the app, sign up, and boom. So what are you waiting for? Now more than ever, make that connection. One Spot is your Jamaican app on the go, and did I say it's free in Jamaica?
With Sagicor Life, you have access to affordable life, critical illness, hospital indemnity, and health insurance. Coverage for all. Care for you.
Welcome back. It's time now for the business day. The Bank of Jamaica says demand for U.S. dollars significantly exceeded the amount supplied to banks and cambios participating in the foreign exchange market this morning. The BOJ supplied $40 million U.S. dollars, while banks and cambios sought $109 million U.S. dollars to meet the needs of their clients. This resulted in a $69 million shortfall. Analysts say the gap could prompt another intervention by the central bank tomorrow as it seeks to reduce the backlog of unmet demand. The BOJ says the strongest demand came from National Commercial Bank of Jamaica, which purchased $6.69 million US. Citibank Jamaica bought $6 million US, while First Global Bank purchased $4 million. And at the end of foreign exchange trading, banks and cambios were selling the US dollar for an average $158.23. The Canadian dollar is being sold for $114.40. The pound is going for $214.19, while the euro is selling for an average $181.94. At the end of To other news now, Dollar Financial Services is reporting a significant increase in net profit for the 6 months of this year as growth in its loan portfolio and lower credit loss provisions strengthened its financial performance. Net profit rose 36% to $357 million for the 6 months, which ended June, compared with the corresponding period last year. For the second quarter alone, net profit increased to $169 million, representing growth of about 28%. Revenue for the quarter rose 5% to $536 million, while 6 months revenue increased 4% to just over $1 billion. The company's loan portfolio grew 15% year on year to $5.13 billion. To some news on the stock market now. The JSE index advanced by 2,364 points, while the junior market index advanced by 20 points. The advancers included GWest Corporation, Everything Fresh, MFS Capital Partners, Dollar Financial Services, and 138 Student Living Preference Shares. The losers included Caribbean Cream, Jamaica Public Service Company, Medical Disposables and Supplies, Kingston Properties, and Cygnus Credit Investments Preference Shares. 12 stocks traded firm. And that's it for the Business Day. News from overseas after the break.
The Business Day, brought to you by...
With Sagicor Life, you have access to affordable life, critical illness, hospital indemnity, and health insurance. Coverage for all. Care for you.
In news overseas, Romania has shut down its only nuclear power station because of extremely low water levels in the Danube River caused by prolonged hot weather affecting much of Europe. The Cernavoda plant, where two reactors produce about 20% of Romania's electricity, is not expected to be restarted within the next 10 days. Earlier this week, authorities tried to increase the water flow to the plant, which uses the Danube for cooling, by sinking barges loaded with rocks in the river. Neighboring Hungary has so far avoided a shutdown of its only nuclear plant, which also uses the Danube. The water in Europe's second longest river has fallen to the lowest levels for 30 years in several countries.
And the Primetime News package continues with sports right after this break.
Energy and ring, where the people want in the streets. Supplegen boosts you up.
The time by Supplegen is...
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is planning to shake things up to improve its services for our patients living with diabetes.